Welcome back to the Champions Corner. I'm your host, Adriel Orona, and today's guest is a leader, a mentor, and a voice that has impacted generations. He played for the legendary Bob Huggins at the University of Cincinnati, built one of the most premier youth organizations across the Midwest known as the Shining Stars, and turned his life story into a best-selling book. From working with Michael Jordan and Nike to mentoring young athletes across the country, his mission has always been bigger than basketball. Today we dive into leadership and legacy and what it truly means to leave a lasting impact that goes far beyond the game. This is Alex Meacham.
It's all God, this ain't no love. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm up like my name.
So how'd it go at Indian? What were you guys talking about?
Well, so part of the mental health leadership
Yeah.
program that we run called Important, we were working with about 25 middle school students. I saw Mr. Phelps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, we just work on different leadership skills, mental health, talk about social media.
Right.
The good, the bad,
Right.
the ugly.
Right.
Yeah.
I was talking about when I see him. I saw him yesterday, and I was like, hey, I let him know. I was like, we're gonna be doing a podcast today. He's like, all right, cool. Send me the link. I'm excited.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's real
Phelps
cool.
is a good guy. I've known him since like 1990. Yeah, about
Yeah.
1990.
Dang.
Yeah.
Pretty long time.
You don't know nothing about 1990.
No, bro. I'm a 2005 type of kid when I was born.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Man.
been-
You know what's crazy is, though, when you get older, you're going to talk to young people, and you're going to go, back in
Back in 2025, 2026.
2026. They're going to be like, dang.
I know. I'm gonna be like a
whoa.
dinosaur. They're gonna be like, what's going on?
What was it like back then?
Yeah, because dude, who knows? Who knows what the future looks like just from technology, bro? Like everything.
There's so much that we don't even know.
Right.
And they're almost, I think part of the thing with technology is they're trying to make life easier,
Yeah.
more efficient, which is great. But at the same time, you kind of lose that personal, one-on-one interaction when everything becomes, dependent on the phone, AI,
Right.
chat, all that stuff. You just lose, I think, a little bit of that organic relationships that I think were so beneficial to me growing up.
Right. I want you to talk a little bit about yesterday. What did you guys have going on for the for your guys' organization? Not the Shining Stars. This was the you guys were giving out scholarships, right? Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the Boys and Girls Club
Boys
of
and
Greater
Girls Club.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So I'm on the board of trustees, which I'm very proud to be a part of that organization. It's one of, I think, the great nonprofits in the United States of America. So you've got the Boys and Girls Club of America,
Right.
and then it breaks down into like different little sectors, and you have the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Cincinnati. And here's the unique thing about it: all these different Boys and Girls Clubs raise money individually. So let's say the Boys and Girls Club of South LA. I've been there tons of times.
Yeah.
So it's right there in the heart of like South Central. Like they don't call it South Central anymore. They call it South LA with Compton and Watts and all that. So they'll go raise money in the, LA area for that particular club. Mm-hmm. In Cincinnati, we raise money for all the different Boys and Girls Club in Greater Cincinnati. And maybe about a month ago, we had a celebration because we started a capital campaign.
Okay.
And part of that capital campaign, the goal was to raise money to help renovate the clubs, provide different programs to, help the young people. I think, teaching them things like what you're doing is going to be crucial for these kids moving forward. And we were fortunate enough to, I think we've raised the most amount of money with this 2-year capital campaign in the history of the Boys and Girls Club, of any club.
Yeah.
So we ended up raising $50 million.
Wow.
Dollars.
That's a lot. That's a big number right there.
Yeah. So, but part of that, I think what's unique about what we do with the Boys and Girls Club is we try to give the young people an experience, teach them life lessons. And one of them that I love is the Youth of the Year award.
Yeah.
There were 6 different participants in the Youth of the Year that were nominated. They come from different clubs. So there's clubs all over Greater Cincinnati, Newport, Avondale, Price Hill, Roll Hill, all over Cincinnati.
Right.
And they select a group of kids. And these kids go through like a process where they prep to do this presentation. It's a speech in front of not only a group of judges, but then kind of an audience.
People are coming. Yeah.
And it was at the Great American Ballpark where the Reds play. It's one of my favorite events because like you get to see these kids up there. And I think back to when I was that age.
Yeah.
You know, some of them, I think one girl was a sophomore at Roger Bacon. And our winner this year, so we gave out $36,000 in scholarship money to the 6 different individuals. Of course, you have your winner and Honesty. Honesty James got.
Her name was Honesty.
Yeah,
that's a nice name. That's a unique name. That's
it's spelled. It's got like an apostrophe in the middle.
Really?
So it's very unique. Spelling, and she's a very unique individual in person. So her name kind of fits her personality,
That's
and
awesome.
she knocked her speech out the park, and she won $20,000 that night with her speech. And it's cool because I'm like, man, and I've got a bubbly personality. I've always been kind of on stage, in front of cameras, different things for like my whole life.
Right.
And I don't even think I was as polished as she was, and even some of the other ones that every kid did a great job. It's hard to choose one, but she definitely she hit a grand slam. We were in a ballpark, so
so that
see what I did there?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, all right.
There we go. That's smooth. Well, man, take us back to the very beginning. You grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. So what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, born and raised in the 513.
Yeah.
I love Cincinnati.
Okay.
Cincinnati's so very unique to me because I've watched Cincinnati as a city, as a community really grow and change. I mean, I was around when, and you don't know anything about this, there were riots here.
Okay.
And I remember I was kind of fresh out of college. I was doing like a kind of an internship / working. And it came on TV that there was riots going on and everyone had to go home. Dang. And I think the city went through a lot. And since those riots, I think the city has improved. We still have a long way to go with some things. But in terms of, I think, the culture in our city, you can go to so many different pockets and just see all kind of different people, interact with different people. And I think the biggest thing about Cincinnati, and I travel a lot, I'm in a lot of different cities and communities, have friends all over the country. I've never seen a city kind of just rally behind good causes like Cincinnati. Like, we just raised $50 million for the Boys and Girls Club.
That is insane.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's one of, many different initiatives out there that people get behind. I'm also on the board of a Talbert House, which is an unbelievable nonprofit here in our area that, they have over 50 programs I could go into that deal with mental health, drug, alcohol, rehabilitation, housing. Like they do, Talbert House does amazing things. And the amount of people in this community that get behind that to help others is unbelievable. So growing up in Cincinnati was great for me because I feel like I grew up in a time where, the city was growing itself, changing how it looked, and how it was going to be run. Right. And so I'm proud of my city. When I go places, I talk
speak on the 513.
I talk it.
I want to bring something up. The Sugar and Spice Court. What does that court mean to you? I did some.
I did some about Sugar and Spice Court.
I did some information looking.
Oh
yeah, man. Let's bring it back.
Man, so I grew up in an area called Paddock Hills, and I'm very fortunate to grow up in that area because it was so diverse in a lot of ways. It was diverse in terms of the people that lived in that neighborhood, economic, racial, like whatever it was. There was this diversity every house you went to, and that kind of shaped me to who I am, to where I feel like you could put me anywhere in the country, in the world, and I'd be able to adapt because of how I grew up and open to so many different cultures. And I just remember going to like neighbors' house and eating the food of their country or their grandparents' country, you know, and just really absorbing, you know, up different cultures. So Paddock Hills is dear to my heart, but one area that raised me was the basketball courts, which were called the Sugar and Spice courts, because there's a restaurant, very popular restaurant called Sugar and Spice. And Sugar and Spice sits on the corner, and you have these courts that kind of sit, it's almost like in a little bit of a valley, and there's like a baseball field that nobody uses anymore.
Yeah.
Like nobody plays pickup baseball anymore.
I don't think anybody ever. I've never heard of people doing that.
Back in the day, we used to play this. There used to be this thing called batter on the bounce.
Okay.
You don't
Never heard of that.
Yeah,
No.
it's all good. And so we used to play batter in the bounce. But the basketball courts were always, you know, full. And that court, honestly, raised me in a lot of ways in the basketball world. I was around not only some of the better high school basketball players in Cincinnati, but I was around, I think, just individuals that taught me amazing life lessons, because maybe they weren't trying to like just teach me at the moment, but I was picking up and I was observant of what was going on. I was young when I started playing there, maybe 10 or 11. I wasn't supposed to be down there.
Yeah.
Mom, my bad. And I'm 10 or 11. There's, you know, guys down there that are like 17, 18, 19, 20.
Right.
So I was learning from them. But what they taught me was confidence.
Yeah.
And I think as you navigate through life, confidence is the key.
Absolutely.
Like how you walk through a door, how you sit in a room, just anything you do in life, confidence is the key. And to develop confidence, I think you have to be comfortable with yourself, being able to walk in your own shoes. And I talked when I spoke at your class on governance and compliance at UC.
Yeah.
I talked about being
authentic. Yeah.
And you're one of one. Like there's no one in the world like you.
Right.
And when you become comfortable with that and say, I'm one of one, whenever I walk into a room, man, these people are going to get a unique experience because they've never met anyone like me.
Right.
And I take a lot of pride in that, being able to walk in with confidence, introduce myself to everyone in the room. I got that from those courts, Sugar and Spice, playing basketball. They taught me about confidence. I remember one time, came down the court. I was young, playing with a bunch of older guys, and there used to be this guy named Money Station.
Money Station. That's a cool nickname right there.
Yeah, it's Money Station. He said he was always making withdrawals on the court. That's what he said.
Oh,
He was a character.
Yeah.
He was a good ball. He could hoop. He was a character, and a good character.
Yeah.
So he passed me the ball one time, and I didn't shoot it because I was too scared. I was nervous. I was worried about the results. Yeah. Right. Instead of being confident in my abilities. So I passed up a shot, and he was like, "Don't you pass it up, you got." So I kind of got ripped for that. And the next time I shot it, and I missed it. And he's like, "That's what I'm talking about."
Yeah, because you shot
it. And okay, wow, this guy believes in me. Like he's one of the OGs out here. He's like one of the best players.
Yeah.
And then I started practicing more and more. And then through practice, repetition, and then having some success on the court, confidence, soon followed. So I think that helped me, those life experiences, to where when I walk in the door now to meet you, anybody, I feel confident with who I am and my abilities.
Yeah. I like that.
Shout out Sugar and Spice courts.
Sugar and Spice. Hopefully they hear this. Hey, but I want to transition now into high school. So I know you went to 3 different high schools.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like at your first high school?
It was a really tough experience for me. It was tough because, most people want to go to one high school for 4 years, have a ton of friends, and, go to prom and, all that good stuff. For me, it didn't happen like that. I first started off in the Seven Hills school system. Seven Hills is, I think one of the great schools in our area.
Yeah.
Not only from an education standpoint, but also I think the culture they have within the school, being a really small private school, helping the students develop a lot of life skills they need. I love Seven Hills. My struggle, honestly, at Seven Hills was I didn't want to study. And if I would have stayed there and graduated there, I mean, there were people that went, she was at Brown, Stanford, Yale.
Dang, so they're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to these universities.
They're going to, yeah. So it was academically, if you did well there and plus all the other stuff, your resume was loaded.
Right.
And you could get into different schools. And that really wasn't my focus.
Yeah.
So being that I wasn't doing what I should be doing academically, my parents made a decision that I needed to transfer because it was a very expensive school. Ended up going to Purcell Marion. And it was kind of a culture shock. And as I got older and more mature, I kind of looked back on it, and I used to blame the school.
Yeah.
And as I got older, it wasn't a school, it was me. And the reason I say that is because I go from Seven Hills, it's a private school. You could wear whatever, like what I'm wearing now, these pink shoes and, a sweatsuit.
Yeah.
I could wear that to school.
Right.
I come in with curly hair, facial hair, whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
At Purcell, you had to be clean shaven.
Yeah.
You had to wear a uniform. So I was at Seven Hills for pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
Then I go and it was like being in a cold tub and then get thrown in a hot tub, right? It was just like
it's a huge change.
It's a huge change. And It was a shock to me. So I didn't adapt very well, and I kind of fought it, and it didn't last long there. So ended up transferring. Ended up at Roger Bacon my junior year, and I always tell everyone, going to 3 different high schools in 4 years was actually a blessing.
Okay.
It was, because I ended up where I think Roger Bacon was the school that I was meant to go to and graduate from.
Absolutely.
Didn't start there, but I finished there. Gained a lot of great friends. Seth Coyle is one of my best friends to this day. I met him in high school. We graduated in 1995. What year were you born?
2005.
Yeah. All right. So, so we're still friends to this day.
Yeah.
Anytime I go back to Roger Bacon, man, it's all love, man. I walk in there and they look at me as an alumnus that has gone on to do some cool things, and awesome. I'm very, very proud of that. So I look at it as that's my journey, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But how about your basketball career? What was your basketball career like at those schools? Because then from there, you then transitioned to play for the University of Cincinnati.
Yeah, so I was a really good player going into my freshman year of high school because of my older brother, Tony. Okay. Tony really taught me a lot about the game, and I was always playing with, I was down at Sugar and Spice.
Yeah.
Playing against my brother Tony. He's 7 years older. Shout out to my brother Tony. He's the assistant athletic director for the Florida Gators.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. That's huge.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Down in Gainesville.
Yeah.
And he's beautiful wife, Amy, and 4 kids, Isaac, Jude, Cy, and Mariah. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, got to shout out the fam.
Yeah.
So I was prepared, I think, for high school basketball at the freshman level because of my experience prior to that, playing with older kids and developing that confidence at Sugar and Spice.
Yeah.
And then kind of looking up to my older brother, Tony, who graduated from Summit Country Day, and he was a really good basketball player there. I ended up breaking my leg going into my freshman year. I had made varsity as a freshman before school even started.
Dang.
Yeah, that's how the coaches looked at me as having a lot of talent, a lot of potential.
Yeah.
So I didn't even go to tryouts yet. And then I ended up breaking my leg, didn't play a full season, had to transfer out, go to Purcell, make Purcell's varsity team as a sophomore. So 2 years back to back, I'm on varsity. And Purcell had a very good team. Coach Gergen was the coach, Sean Hannerhan, Dave Walker. I can go on and on with all the good players. I was fortunate to kind of be around and learn from. I was having trouble with the school because, like I said, going from a cold tub to a hot tub, and I think it bled over into basketball, and I really wasn't vibing with Coach Gergen.
Right.
And for years, I always looked at Coach Gergen as the problem, whereas as I got older and matured, I was the one that had, the issues. And leaving there, ended up at Roger Bacon. We had a coach named Bill Brewer. He passed away young, too. Amazing coach, man. Shout out Bill Brewer. So I get there. It was Bill Brewer's first year as a head coach. He was the youngest. I believe he was the youngest head coach in Cincinnati. He was an assistant at Moeller High School. And I don't know how many games. And so I make the varsity team as a junior. I don't know how many games into the season we were, but I was playing really, really well. I was coming off like a season high. I think I had 12 points for Simon Kenton. And I found out that I was academically ineligible for the rest of the season.
Wow.
Yep. And so here we go. 3 years in a row, I didn't play one full season of high school basketball. So my hope was my senior year, I'd be able to finally settle in and play. And then I was deemed ineligible my senior year because of the transfers.
That's crazy.
It was tough. But, again, I tell people it was part of my journey.
Yeah.
And the beauty of not playing basketball my senior year and not playing a full season of high school basketball, it made me look in the mirror and say, okay, this basketball thing might not work out. So what other skills do I have? Yeah. So I started doing community service. Mrs. Coyle, Seth Coyle, my best friend, his mother, Barb, she had me doing some bacon buddies is what they call it, some community service. There was a picture of me. Actually, I had to dress up like a bunny rabbit. It was in the paper.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. I have to show you the picture. It wasn't a good look. And then I hosted some different things at the school. I was part of the talent show, pep rallies. So I kind of found my calling of being in front of people on a large stage, and I was very, very comfortable with that. So I think not having basketball helps me with what I do today in a lot of ways because it prepped me that, man, you can get in front of people. And I kept getting asked, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? You're not scared to get up there, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, so 4 years, no high school hoops really.
That's crazy.
I don't know of many stories in all of college basketball where you have a player that's not played a full season of high school basketball and makes it on to play for
a Division I program.
Not only a Division I program, the number one team in the country.
Yeah, that is insane.
And insanity. Yeah. And that's not, and I don't mean that from an arrogant standpoint, like, oh, I'm amazing, I'm making it. But I'm saying that because, again, life presents you so many opportunities. Yeah. Sometimes some people don't see the door to walk through. And I did. Yeah. I knew deep down in my heart when I was 9 years old, I was going to play basketball for the University of Cincinnati. There's a gentleman named Roger McClendon that played for UC back in the day. He's one of the greatest to ever play at UC. McDonald's All-American. He's from Illinois, Champaign, Illinois. And I used to watch him, man. He was like Michael Jordan to me. And I was like, I want to be just like him. He used to kick his feet up real high when he'd shoot a jump shot. I was like, I want to be like that guy. So all through my years, I'm like, I'm going to play for UC. And not playing a full season, believe this or not, not playing a full season of high school basketball, I still told myself, I'm going to play for UC. Yeah. And I just think like having the right people around me and help guide me through gave me an opportunity to play for the greatest university in the United States of America, and that is the University of Cincinnati.
There you go. But then how does that opportunity to you come about? Like, literally, like, usually you don't hear a story about like that happens to anybody. So how was that for you?
So what happened was, so many times in life, you'll be presented with people, and you'll either make a connection with them or you'll keep going. So I'm walking through the campus. So I go to UC as a freshman. Yeah. I'm not playing basketball. I'm just there as a freshman. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I want to be a walk-on for UC. So I need a year to prepare for that. And while I'm doing that for that year, UC's unbelievable, man. Yeah. They're number one. They've got Damon Flint, Danny Fortson. I can go on and on with all the great players. D'Antonio Wingfield, like some of these guys you've probably never heard of, but definitely
Yeah.
some GOATs in UC basketball history. But I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make it with these guys right now. So I needed a year to kind of mentally, physically prepare myself. So what happened, though, was I kind of hit a wall. It's like, I don't know, have you ever, like, worked out and you're just like, man, I'm doing the same thing. I need to either work out with somebody else or have a trainer come push me. I hit that wall, and I'm walking through campus, and I'm walking. So I lived on a street called Stratford, and I'm walking through campus, and I'm thinking, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I see this guy walking through campus, and I'm like, oh, snap, that's Jerome Gray. Yeah. So Jerome Gray was a walk-on for UC, but he was getting ready to graduate. So I stop him. I'm like, hey, Jerome, I know you're a walk-on. I want to be a walk-on, but I need help. Would you help me? So he gave me his number, and he said, call me. I call him later that night, and this was, I think, like on a Wednesday. And then I call him later that night, and he goes, all right, we're getting started. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna work you out, take you through some different things to help prepare you for Bob Huggins.
Yeah, legendary.
Hall of Fame coach. At the time, he wasn't Hall of Fame, but
you know,
we know where that was going.
Right.
So I said, all right, great. What time and when? He said, Friday, midnight. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And I lived on Frat Row. Okay. So you know what happens on Friday at midnight?
Yeah, bro. Not basketball. Not basketball, that's for sure.
There's a different hooping going on.
Yeah, for real.
So I'm like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
Friday night, midnight. He goes, you got to get the gym. Got the key to Seven Hills High School. We go in there. Midnight to maybe 2 a.m. we work out. I'm like, cool, man, thanks. He says, see you tomorrow, midnight. 2 nights. Saturday night. Now you really know what's going down Saturday night.
Absolutely.
Oh, the frats were really jumping. I mean, they're like literally, they got those like little makeshift pools, and they're jumping off the balcony, and there's beer in the thing. So, and here I am like walking to go work on my dribbling. So 12 to 2. And he goes, all right, you got Sunday off. He's like, we're going to get started. He's like, I'll see you Monday, 6 a.m. And what he was doing was, he was testing me. Yeah. Were you going to make the sacrifices necessary to take on this task of playing for the University of Cincinnati? And he saw, after a while, like, this dude's making sacrifices. And he knew how serious I was. And it got to a point where he wanted me to walk on just as bad as I wanted to walk on. Yeah. That's the relationship that we built. And he, at the time, his girlfriend, who later became his wife, she was like giving me like advice and pumping me up. So it was like, now I've got a team of people.
Right, you surround yourself with people. I want to see you succeed.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that have been through that experience. So I owe a lot to Jerome Gray. Unfortunately, he passed away. He had a heart attack in his 40s, very young. Wow. And he gave me a lot of hand-me-down knowledge, as we like to call it, to help prepare me. And great story. So you'll appreciate this. Yeah. The day was going to come where I had to talk to Bob Huggins and ask Bob Huggins if I could be a walk-on. Yeah. So here's what happened. Jerome says, all right, we're going to do 2 days of prep. Yeah. All right. He says, I want you to write down everything you want to say. So day one, I write down everything. We start going through it. We trim, cut, boom. He goes, all right, this is what you're going to say. Well, he didn't tell me this was, he said, but he helped me arrive at what I was going to say. The next day, Jerome and I, we now practice. So I had these note cards. Yeah. And we're practicing. Man, that last time we practiced, it was so on point. I was like, oh, this is on.
Like, you got it.
Got it. Yeah. Set up an appointment with Bob Huggins. He used to have a secretary named Renee Haru. Shout out Renee. You notice, like, I have to remember all the names throughout my journey. Yeah. Like, every step of the way. That's another key to life, man, remembering those that were part of your journey.
Absolutely.
I called Renee Haru. I said, can I set up a meeting with Huggins? She did. Go into Hugg's office. Now, this is in the old, so it's now the Fifth Third Arena. It used to be called the Shoe. Old school, man. He had this like carpet. I think it was called like a shag carpet. You ever heard of that before?
No, I've never heard of that.
It's like carpet that's a little taller, and it
Okay.
was red, almost a maroon. Maybe because it was like maybe dirty.
Okay.
And
Alright.
it was like you would like trip on the
Yeah,
carpet like walking.
damn,
Like,
alright.
ooh. And he had this like really dark wood desk, and then there was his seat, and then he had the room like dimmed, and there was like a seat in front of the desk where I needed to sit.
Yeah.
So I walk in.
That's got to be like, you got to walk in. I feel like just like imagining what you're talking about, there's like an aura in there that's like whatever you were already feeling, like however confident you were, just kind of like just flew out the window.
Oh, just wait.
All right.
You're setting it up
All
real
right,
well.
all right.
So I walk in the door, and I see him, and I'm like, wow, it's Bob Huggins.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the biggest thing in Cincinnati because the Reds weren't very good. The Bengals weren't very good. Xavier was mid.
Yeah.
It was UC Hoops, bro.
Yeah.
He walked around this city and owned it. Here I am in his office. Take a deep breath. I'm starting to walk through the door. I look to my left, and I'm like, can I cuss on here?
No, you straight.
I'm like, oh, shit. I look to my left. There's a picture on his wall. It's Bob Huggins and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's my basketball idol.
Yeah.
And Jordan has his arm around Hugs, and Jordan's just smiling cheek to cheek. I don't think I've ever seen Michael smile like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that made me so nervous. It's
Yeah.
like, here's the Hall of Fame coach, my favorite player ever, and there's this little walk or somebody that wants to be a walk-on that's not played a full season of high school basketball.
Right.
Are you kidding me? So I kind of make my way through this carpet that's way too tall, and I sit in this seat. In the seat, you're like this, and the desk is here.
No way.
And he's sitting up like this. I swear, it's like I sat in a beanbag.
Bro.
And Hugs is like, I mean, he's a tall. I don't think you've seen him in person before, but
Okay.
he's a taller guy. He's a big guy, very intimidating. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So he was wearing glasses, and he goes, have a seat. He takes off his glasses and he puts them down. He leans back and he goes, so how can I help you? I'm like, oh my God, that's like a movie thing.
Yeah,
like taking
yeah.
off the glasses
Yeah.
is like,
Absolutely.
wow. So I think about Jerome Gray. Take a deep breath. All right. Think about all the times we practiced
your
the
prep,
last 2 days,
yeah.
right? The prep work.
Yeah.
I look at him. Hands are slimy.
Yeah.
I forgot everything that was on those note
Yeah.
cards.
Oh.
Everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know how like in a movie and you're just staring at someone, like 30 seconds seems like 10 minutes
Absolutely.
of just dead silence. So I did something that moment that I take with me the rest of my life. I spoke from my heart. I just said, Coach, I've had a rough road in high school, and it would be an honor to play basketball for the University of Cincinnati. And you, I want to wear Cincinnati across my chest. I want to see that name, Meacham, on the back of the jersey. I'll do anything to make that happen. And I just gave him the real.
Yeah.
And he asked me a couple questions. He goes, I'll tell you what. Here's what you do. We got open gym. Guys are going to come play pickup ball. Just show up, see how you do, and we'll go from there. It's like, all right, thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
So I'm got my slimy hands, and I shake his hand, walk out. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
All I needed. That gets me in the door.
Right.
So I went to the first open gym, pickup ball. There are about roughly 17 guys there. I make 18. Nobody knows who I am. I'm standing on the sideline. You got 5-on-5v5, 10 guys playing. You got more guys waiting.
Right.
They get in, they play.
And they're all players too already, right?
They're a mixture of current and former.
Okay.
Danny Fortson, Damon Flint, guys like Corey Blunt, who's playing for the Chicago Bulls. I think at the time was the Chicago Bulls. He's back. Nick Van Exel came through. Terry Nelson. So
Dogs. Dogs.
I don't belong in that gym. I should be sweeping the court for them and giving them like, you need water, Mr. Van Exel?
Yeah.
And I'm standing on the sideline, like everyone's like, who is dude? And nobody picks me. I stood on that sideline for 3 hours.
Damn.
Nobody picked me. Went home. It's a Monday. Go back Tuesday. Stand on the sideline. 3 hours. Nobody picks me. Nobody talks to me. Go home. Wednesday, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
Thursday, rinse, repeat. Go back to my apartment. I had 2 roommates, Matt Bergen and Sam Dunn. Sam Dunn is still one of my best friends to this day. Sam gave me some great advice. I was like, man, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm just standing. No one's saying anything to me. This is not going to work. He goes, are you crazy? Like, you know how many people would love to be standing on that sideline just to have an opportunity? No, you're going back. That's what he said. I'm driving you. He drove me back.
Yeah.
I went, stood on that sideline. And something happened. This is wild. The following week, the numbers started to dwindle a little bit. So they went from 17 players to maybe 15 to 14. Got to that Monday. There were only 10 guys there. I made 11.
Yeah.
5v5. They're hooping. I'm like, cool. We got 3 hours? Well, I'm going to play today.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, Ruben Patterson twisted his ankle. I'm like, here we go.
That's your time.
There's 9 guys.
Yeah.
I make 10.
Yeah.
Not making this up. One of the players looks up at the clock, looks around, goes, all right, let's get out of here.
Oh.
And they cut it like 2
Bro.
hours short. And
No
I'm
way.
standing there like, wow.
Yeah.
I kept going. It was almost a situation where I kept going to the point where they're going to have to tell me to leave.
Yeah.
And then we had this thing called Midnight Madness. And back then, the Midnight Madness was a preview to the season. The teams would come and play inter-squad scrimmage. It'd be dunk competition, three-point competition. And so I show up. No one's talking to me. I don't know if I'm on the team, anything. I'm like literally in the locker room.
Yeah.
And people aren't talking to me. They put on this board, red team, black team. And I'm looking. I'm like, Meacham. No. Wasn't on either team. So I walk out. And the women's team, they were scrimmaging at the time. And I actually shout out Katrina Merriweather. She's now the women's head coach.
Okay.
She was on the team then.
Oh,
She was
snap.
scrimmaging.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. Shout out Katrina.
Yeah.
I walk out there. I'm just sitting there watching, and I'm like, well, guess I'm not in the team. So one of the managers, Scott Wilhoit, says to everybody, all right, come in the locker room. Let's get ready. So I'm thinking, like, should I go in there? I'm not on the team. My name's on the list. So watching everybody walk in, and so I'm like, I'll go in there one last time. Forget it. So I go in there. I sit down on the bench. They had these like lockers, where everyone would sit. And I sat in like an empty one.
Yeah.
And they said everybody put on their practice jerseys for the scrimmage. And then all of a sudden, this like paper, like it was a bag with the practice jersey, and it comes flying my way. Boom, hits me. I like look up there and I see Meacham.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
I threw that jersey on, ran out those doors. Rest is history.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah.
How was it playing for the legendary Bob Huggins? So then, boom, you're on the team. Let's talk about what goes on from there.
Bob Huggins is he's a master at getting the best out of individuals. I always say he would have been an amazing psychologist, the way he could read people and push buttons. He was able, what I thought was giving 100% was really 70. And he taught me that, like, that's only 70. Let's get you to 100. When you look at guys like Kenyon Martin goes on from coming to Cincinnati is not a 5-star, 4-star. I don't even know what star he was, to the number 1 player in the country.
Right.
Arguably, one of the top 2. Oscar Robertson's the best ever, but, I think Kenyon Martin's the second greatest, or most known Bearcat ever.
Right.
Jason Maxiell, Steve Logan, Leonard Stokes, Dermar Johnson. I can go on and on with guys that Eric Hicks, that came in as one person and left as another, and I attribute a lot of that to Bob Huggins. It was tough. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
You know, every day you walked in, it was almost like, oh shit, what's about to happen today? But I'd rather that than, oh, this is going to be easy, because you're not getting pushed.
Right.
And I wasn't going to go to the NBA. I was learning life lessons. I was trying to help set myself up for the rest of my life, and it was accomplished, man. So playing for Bob Huggins was an honor and something I cherish to this day.
Yeah. And then you also play with Kenyon Martin. So what was that experience like too?
Kenyon was my roommate on the road.
Okay.
So I had two roommates on the road. One of my first year, I had Ruben Patterson. He got drafted to the Lakers. And then Kenyon Martin, he ends up the #1 pick. So whoever was a roommate with me ended up
that's what
making
it was.
it to the
That's
NBA
what it was. You were the lucky charm,
as a
man.
secret sauce.
Yeah.
But later I found out Huggs had me room with those guys to keep them out of trouble. Yeah, that's what I later found out. I didn't know it at the time. Playing with Kenyon Martin I learned a lot from him from this standpoint. He put in so much time and work because he wanted to be the #1 pick. He wanted to get out of the situation he was in Dallas, Texas, Oak Cliff. Like, he wanted to change his trajectory in life. And that was to make it to the NBA, and no one was going to stop him. And I'm sitting there watching this man grow on so many levels, mature in front of my eyes. It was amazing to watch. I still, to this day, I haven't seen anybody transform who they are in that period of time like Kenyon Martin. And so proud of Ken and what he's doing now.
Right.
He had a stuttering problem in college, and now he's in the media.
Yeah.
And he talks for a living.
Yeah.
Forget the
a
basketball.
whole,
How cool is that?
Right.
That should inspire a whole lot of individuals out there that, like, if he can get over it, you can too.
Right.
So playing with him was amazing, and I'm proud to call him a friend. I could text him and reach out to him and talk to him to this day. So I'm very, very proud of what he's doing.
And then you're playing with all these athletes. You're seeing all these athletes go to the next level, but unfortunately you didn't. So then what was next for you? You obviously you keep these connections going on, but let's kind of fast forward to the end of your college career. What goes on from there?
I think one good thing that I've always been able to do is have the foresight to understand that people are the key to life. Like, things are like shoes, cars, those are all materialistic.
Right.
Like, people are the most important things. And I understood that at an early age. Shout out my mom and my dad, Bob and Grace Meacham, for instilling that in me, because I used to watch them and I'm like, man, they treat people so well. Yeah. And they're always around people and helping others, talking with others. So I used my senior year of college to really network and build relationships with people that I knew when I finished up playing, I could help somebody, they could help me. And fortunate enough, Bob Huggins gave me a little bit of wisdom, and he says, there are a lot of powerful people sitting courtside. You need to go shake their hands. Yeah. So I started doing that. Yeah. And to this day, there are some people that I shook hands with on the court side that I still talk to that are, big time business people. One guy's been a great mentor to me, and just met great people. So I used my senior year to learn how to properly engage with people in my unique way and be authentic. Because I would come out of the locker room on game day and I'd go to courtside and shake hands. I'm not Kenyon Martin. They would go crazy if Kenyon Martin came over to say hello. So I'm not that same. I don't have that same aura. Right. But I'm just gonna go be me. Yeah. And I just learned that's enough. Yeah. That'll take you far in life. Absolutely. And then I remember you spoke when we had that meeting when we spoke in the class. You talked about how you had that exit meeting with Huggins. What was that like? What was said there, kind of like to put you off after college? What happened? He told me, you're not going to the NBA. You're not going to go play overseas. Anybody knows Hugs, he keeps it real. Yeah. He doesn't care what you think. He's going to tell you. He says, but, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you meet some people, get connected. And he's the one that advised me to, make sure that I come back to future games and continue to engage with some of the alumni, some of the business people, and ended up meeting a guy named Bill Reinberger who allowed me to intern at, it was called Clear Channel at the time. It's now iHeartMedia, which is a huge company. So I interned there, and that was all through shaking Bill Reinberger's hand at a game.
That's insane.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's a great, life lesson. I take a lot of those things, with me to this day, man. Just shaking hands. You never know who you meet, and the importance of remembering people's names too. So, yeah, that exit meeting was good for me to hear. And Huggins knew I had a bright future, but I just need to get in front of the right people.
Right. And then, so what went on after that? Like, what did you have through your mind? Like, what am I going to do next? Basketball is over. What do I got next?
Well, I always thought basketball would somehow remain in the picture. Like it would be in my DNA somehow, some way. So I started helping coach at a school called Walnut Hills High School.
Oh, yeah.
I was coaching there. I wrote a book, Walk of a Lifetime.
Yeah.
Shout out Simon Anderson, Sam Dunn, and Mark Brown for helping with the execution of that book. Those two things help, take me to a different level. The book came out. It was the number 6 bestseller in Cincinnati. And what that did was it allowed me to start going to all these schools, Rotary clubs, sports stags, and talk about the book and talk to young people. Man, when I first wrote that book, I was at so many events in the city and places, man. Yeah. You would never. Sometimes I'd be there talking to 3 kids. Sometimes I'd be there in front of 3,000.
Right.
It didn't matter. Let's get my message across. Coaching at Walnut Hills, I met some good people and some kids that needed some help, which allowed me to start Shining Star Sports and today we're at 44 AAU basketball teams. Yeah. And I go back to Walnut Hills and also the book for allowing me to get in front of all these people, these kids, and pump up, what we're doing. So,
What inspired you to write this book?
Well, it wasn't my plan. I was approached by Simon Anderson, the publisher, Clifton Hills Press. He was a professor at UC and CCM. I think there's an award named after him in the athletic department after Simon Anderson, one of the great, great human beings to ever not only walk Cincinnati, but also the University of Cincinnati. And he was a music guy. Mm-hmm. Could tell you anything about jazz. Could tell you anything about music you want to know.
Yeah.
Could play piano, sing, all that. And I took one of his classes, and he and I got to know each other. And then after my senior year playing at UC, he thought my story was so unique. Like, who doesn't play high school basketball and plays for this team?
Right.
And he's like, I think it's a book. So he called me, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I could barely write a paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he called me again. I was like, nah, I'm good. And I told my roommate, Sam Dunn, he was like, that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
So he called me a third time. And I don't know if I got to add, well, he recently passed away. Simon Anderson did. Rest in peace. And thank him and his family for all they did for me for the book. Man, I wish he was alive to ask him this question, but he called me a third time and he says, hey, I want to take you out to this restaurant to eat. And it turns out it was one of my favorite restaurants. Somebody had to tip him off.
Yeah,
like that was so I had like some good food and he started talking. I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do this book. And started the process. It took 14 months every day, between 2 to 7 hours a day. Damn. Whether we were working on, it's crazy. We would work on things like maybe 2 hours on the font size. So I'd go do research. I'd get like a focus group of kids and say, what font size do you like the best? And they'd be like, that one. So we went with that. And like, how many pictures do you like to see in a book and all this? So we just did something besides writing every day to make sure from cover to cover, every part of that book was like, there was a microscope on everything from the cover. The cover is a whole nother story. That could be a podcast in itself. So that's my baby right there. I'm proud of that book.
What was your purpose behind the book? Obviously, you made it. It was your story. But then, what did you want to? Did you want to like impact the youth? What was your goal with it?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So when Simon Anderson initially approached me about it, the concept was to, kind of just tell my story.
Yeah.
But when we started to get in a little bit deeper, I was like, there's some messages that we really need to deliver to young people. Because, didn't play high school basketball for 4 years, playing with Hall of Fame coach, #1 draft pick, #1 team in the country. That seems impossible. And I wanted kids to understand, nothing's impossible. If you have a dream, you're going to go through all these different obstacles. If that path to your goal is from here to here, it's usually, if you set your goals high, it's usually not going to be from here to here. It's just not going to, you're going to go out here, come back, go out here, come back. And that's what happened to me. And I wanted to tell young people, you can get back on that track and you can reach that goal.
Yeah.
I did. I'm not superhuman. I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
You can too.
And then you saw your book ended up being #6 on the bestsellers. What was that like when you found out that's what it was? Like, how was that for you?
I was in Gainesville, Florida, and I was in a crab shack, eating seafood.
Yeah.
And got a call. Somebody said, "Hey, back in the day, the newspaper." You know what newspaper is?
Yeah, I know what that is. That was back in the day, though. Yeah.
She's laughing back there. Yeah, I didn't know back in the day because
Yeah.
everybody's on their phone and laptop. But newspaper was a big deal back then.
Yeah.
If you made the newspaper, it was you were holding it up, you see me. So in the newspaper, they used to have different rankings. They would have maybe music that was top 10 selling, artists at the time. I think Whitney Houston was #1 that particular time, and they have the top 10 books. And mine was #6, and I was in Gainesville, and I didn't even know it had come out that it was #6. And somebody called me, and I was like, "You are kidding me."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, I'm serious." And I'm like, and it beat out the Beatles released a book, and Nancy Reagan, Ronald Reagan, the former president's wife, released a book about her husband. So those two books came out the same day as mine, and I beat out the Beatles, which, they, one of the greatest artists, group of all time. And then, a book about a president.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But it made sense when I sat down with the publisher, and he goes, if you have a self-help book for young people, so many parents out there want to buy something and get something for their kids to help their kids, because as a parent, you can only deliver a message so many times.
Right.
And I always say you become Charlie Brown's teacher, and the old cartoon Charlie Brown, the teacher goes, wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
You can never understand the teacher. And that's what happens sometimes with parents in the message. So if you could have someone say the same thing you're saying,
They'll get it. They'll understand it better.
they'll understand it better.
Yeah.
And that's what this was at that time. And I think that's why it was the #6 bestseller.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So then this book then led to The Shining Stars, correct?
Yes, it played a huge part into Shining Star. We
Yeah.
started with one team. Robbie Noshang, who went to Glen Estee.
Yeah. Oh, snap.
Yeah. Out there in your hood.
my part.
Yeah, which Glen Estee and Amelia are no longer. It's West Claremont where you graduated.
Yeah.
The Wolfpack.
Shout out the Wolfpack. There we go.
Yep. So that was originally Glen Estee Amelia, and he went to Glen Estee, and we had a good group. We had a good group of kids when we first started. Robbie Noshang, Grayson Rhodes, who's doing great things as a kid. He's coaching basketball in the area. Tim Teepee, Khalid Bell, I can go on and on with our first team 25 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and we just had a lot of kids that kind of reminded me of myself in a lot of ways. Weren't the star, just really wanted to work hard, had dreams and goals, and I was happy to work with them regardless if we won, 20 games, championships. I think the true trophy was to see them develop and reach some of their dreams and goals. So that one team led to 4, 4 led to 8, 8 led to 25 years later, 44.
That is crazy.
And one of the longest standing AU programs in the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what do you guys do? So, for example, do you guys play in just strictly Cincinnati? Do you guys go out? Where do you guys do these AAU tournaments at?
It depends on the team. So each grade level, we have multiple teams. So, for example, let's say our sophomore level, we'll have 5 teams. And each one of those teams operates a little bit differently.
Yeah.
It's almost like a franchise restaurant, right? So you got all these Chipotles around.
Yeah.
They kind of fall under the same, you have to serve this way, do this, do that. But some of them might look different in terms of like, they're in a shopping complex and whatever. So our teams are kind of like that, where we let our coaches do their thing, and they, say, okay, we want to stay and play local. Yeah. We have a lot of kids that are developmental, just want to get better, and playing locally might be the right fit for them.
Right.
Some of our players, they're really wanting to get out there and get after it, man, and play at the next level. So that team might go and travel and play on a circuit and go to Indy, Louisville, Columbus, wherever it might be, to play some of the best competition. Mason Weisbrot, who he played on our team, and he was a great player for us, and he wanted to play at the next level, and his team did a lot of traveling.
Yeah. What values do you kind of put into the Shining Stars that separate that AAU program from, say, other programs around the city?
Well, the funny thing is, so I'm kind of the Jeff Bezos mindset. Like with what he does with Amazon, he's always been like, I'm really focused in on us and our customer service. I don't know what everyone else is doing, is what Jeff Bezos would say. So originally when I started, I was like, okay, what's this program doing? What are they doing? How are they doing this and that? And I was always like, and then I just got, wait a minute, like we've got 40 kids here. Let's make sure that we're servicing these kids.
Right.
Like, what are their needs? And so I think when we discovered what their needs are and how we could help them develop on and off the court, I wanted to put together a group of coaches. Like our program, the bloodline of our program is our coaches. Like nothing moves without them. So I want to make sure we have good coaches in place to help these kids develop.
Yeah.
With that being said, the focus being on getting good coaches and knowing our lane and what we do, and that's the development on and off the court. And I think that alone separates us. And I'm not even sure what other AU programs are doing and how they're doing things. I know that we've had record numbers at our tryouts.
Yeah.
And I want to say a large part of that is the coaches we have, the development they're getting, and the focus on their development as people.
What goes into like selecting a coach for that kind of program? How does that work?
Well, if you meet with me and you want to be a coach and all you talk about is wins and losses off the bat, then you lost me.
Yeah.
It's got to be the development of the player. Like, how are you going to develop a player? You've got 10 kids on your team. How are you going to develop 1 through 10? Is 9 and 10 just going to sit the whole time?
Yeah.
Because when I played for Bob Huggins, number 1 was Kenyon Martin. Number 10, if we had more than 10, but number 10 was me. So if number 1 is happy and number 10 is happy, everyone else is going to kind of fall in place.
Right.
And there's a focus with all those players. And I can say that. I think that's why we were successful. Like Kenyon was happy because of his development, and I was happy because of my experience.
Yeah.
So when talking to coaches, it's like, how are your players going to develop, and how are you going to focus in on every player, making sure they have a name, not a number. They're important.
Right.
From there, I think the wins will come.
Yeah.
So if they focus in on that, I'm like, okay, we're good. We can figure out everything else.
Yeah. And then so going from there, you're part in all these different organizations, the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
You got your own segment on the news. You have a media company as well. So how do you find time to manage all that while being the head director for this AAU organization, the Shining Stars?
Well, I've got to give a huge shout out to Alan Costner. He's been a mentor of mine a long time, also our accountant. Alan, a long time ago, told me, all right, give me some of your dreams.
Yeah.
Give me some of the things you want to do. And I start, telling him. He's like, all right, this is a lot. Let's trim some things up. Let's look. And the advice he gave me is, okay, what's going to be the epicenter of what you do? And Shining Star Sports is the epicenter of what I do, right? It's the largest thing I do. There's 44 teams right now, so that's over 412 kids, 412 families. And then from there, we've got Important, which is a mental health leadership nonprofit organization where we go into schools and, help young people. And Then I've got my media stuff. And to me, it all ties together. Mm-hmm. It really does. It's not like I've got Shining Star and then I've got a laundromat and then, you know.
Like just a gas station or something. Like it's not just any
Right.
other thing. Yeah.
It all kind of ties together. So when I work on one thing, it impacts the other thing.
Right.
And I'm able to work on 3 things at once, and it all kind of positively impacts the other. I love the media thing because it allows me to, kind of get the message out of what we're doing a little bit more. I do 2 podcasts, do the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast with JT Smith and Neil Meyer.
Yeah.
Do a global sustainability podcast with Roger McClendon, former Bearcat players, talk a lot about sustainability. Getting ready to probably do a podcast with Chris Paul and Maggie, Billie Eilish's mother, Maggie Bard. So I'm excited for all that. But it all kind of, I don't know, I wake up and every day looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
And no knock on those that wake up and, kind of do the same thing every day. That's their hustle.
Right.
But I like to wake up and go, okay, this day's going to look completely different than yesterday and the day before.
Yeah. Throughout all these things that you've gone throughout your journey, how do you value connections? You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of people, you probably kind of brought it up earlier too, like we can meet each other for the first time and then it just ends there. So like what does connections mean to you throughout your journey that we've gone on?
Well, connections are everything.
Yeah.
Getting to know people, being willing to help them, they could help you. Staying in touch with people.
Right.
And listen, everybody's, busy. Sometimes I have friends or people that I'm connected to and we lose, I might start getting busy with certain things and they get busy and we lose contact for a while and we got to catch back up. And, relationships aren't easy.
Yeah.
They're always a challenge because you got to, stay in contact. And there's sometimes they get difficult too because you never know what someone else is going through. Right. And sometimes people reach out and they're wanting help. And if you're not paying attention, you won't see that. And then there'll be a separation in that friendship, that relationship, because you're not paying attention to what they might need at that moment. Mm-hmm. I've had that happen before where somebody was reaching out, we were having a conversation, and I really wasn't listening to what they were saying. If I was, it was like, oh, you need help with this. Yeah. And I could have provided help, and that could have strengthened, I think, our bond. And instead, it separated that. So it's tough. Yeah. It's tough, but connections are everything, man. It helps you navigate through the world, whether it's, my connection to Simon Anderson and Clifton Hills Press to be able to do. Other than that, I would never have been able to do the book. Right. Jamal Lucas, Gentry Humphrey, Josiah Lake, all from the Jordan brand, and was able to work with them.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah. How did you start working with the Jordan brand?
Man, you're trying to get all the good stories.
Bro, I'm trying to get all the good stories.
Snacks.
Talk to me, man. How did that happen?
The shoe thing is crazy. Like if you think playing basketball for UC is crazy, this Jordan shoe right here is crazy to me. Wow. So when I was young, I don't think I was a great player. I think I was okay when I was young. Had some potential. Yeah. And they used to have these really, really exclusive basketball camps, and one was called the Dave Kreider Camp. And it was in California at the time. It was a guy named Dave Kreider would put it on and invite the top players in the country. Yeah. And Bob Huggins and Dave Kreider got to know each other. So Hugs asked Dave Kreider to bring the basketball camp to UC. Dude. And bring in the top talent. Yeah. Obviously, Hugs is smart. That gives him access to the top players in the country. Right. So they bring one of the most prestigious camps to the University of Cincinnati. Now, in my mind, I'm like, I've got to get in this camp. Yeah. I wasn't good enough to be in that camp. My dad helped me out. Shout out Bob Meacham. He helped me get into the Dave Kreider camp when I shouldn't have been in that camp. And the story goes like this. The Air Jordan 5 came out, back in the 90s. I thought it was the coolest shoe ever. Yeah. So I bought the shoes, And one day I'm watching TV, and I used to have this TV in my room, and it was black and white TV. Do you even know what that? Did you know the TVs were?
I knew they went that color, yeah.
You know they were black and white
Yeah,
back in the
yeah,
day?
yeah.
Okay.
Back in the day, way dinosaur time back.
Wow. Wow. Well, it's great being on the podcast now.
Yeah, it's over now.
Okay, I had this black and white TV, and Michael Jordan, I was playing the game versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Mm-hmm. And at the time, the Jordan 5 was the signature shoe that was out, and he was wearing it. But there was one difference in the shoe. The black metallic Jordan 5 he had in white laces. The shoe came with black laces. There was no reason for him to put white laces in those shoes.
Yeah.
He had to literally take the black ones out and go, you know what? I'm going to put white ones in here. Puts white ones in the shoes. And I'm watching on TV, and I'm like, and I'm a shoe freak.
Yeah.
So I'm watching, I'm like, does he have white laces in there? And when the TV's black and white, they stick out.
Right.
I think it was in color. I mean, I probably would have still gone crazy, but being that it was black and white, it was almost like it was magical, man.
Yeah. Made it pop.
It made it pop.
Yeah.
Like you're too young for this, but I hate to keep saying that.
No,
but,
you're good.
Michael Jackson, back in the day, he had the glitter socks.
I know what you're talking about.
And he would moonwalk.
Yeah.
Seeing him moonwalk for the first time on the American Music Awards was like, it was magical. It was like, yo, what just happened?
Right.
Glitter glove, like Jordan wearing black metallic 5s with white laces was that moment for me. It was just magical. I went and bought white laces, and I put them in those black metallic 5s.
Yeah.
And I started hooping in them. Well, the Dave Kreider camp comes around. Now, this is back in the 90s, so there was no social media. Outside of, like, greater Cincinnati, you didn't know people in, like, Indiana, Charlotte. Like, didn't know those people. I mean, you can go to Kroger, and they would have these magazines, and you could open the magazines and, like, see the top players and read up on them while your mom was, like, shopping for groceries. So I pull up to the Kreider camp. I'm nervous already because it's like top players. And I got my black metallic 5s with white laces. And I'm like, well, I'm the only one in the country that's doing this.
Yeah.
I walk in, I'm like, I saw like 3 players with black metallic 5s with white laces.
Bro.
And I'm like, yo, they saw that same game I did? And that was like the only game that Michael Jordan did that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a thing. And I'm like, what? So I go to the camp. I got cooked, bro. I got cooked at this camp.
Damn.
Oh, man, it was bad. I got home, and I cut those white laces out of my shoes. I put the black ones back in. I said, bro, I'm not worthy. And I said, but one day I'm going to earn these white laces. And I started working on my game. I started working on all the things that I didn't do well at the camp, that I was getting cooked on. I was like, let me work on this stuff. And so finally one day I earned the right and put white laces back in my black metallic 5s. And I was, always worn white laces in them. So I mentored a young man named Jamal Lucas. Shout out J-Mo. And he ended up working for the Jordan brand for Michael Jordan. And I go out to visit him one day. And I meet with Gentry Humphrey, who's the head of he's the president of the shoe brand for Michael Jordan at the time, and Josiah Lake. And we're out at the Nike headquarters. Yeah. And I'm wearing the black metallic 5 with white laces. Yeah. And they're like, why'd you do that? And like no one had, they were like, I've never seen that before. Right. So I told them the story I just told you. Josiah Lake's like, that's amazing. Yeah. And it was amazing to them because like Gentry's from LA, Josiah's from Oregon, Jamal's from Corpus Christi, Texas. Like they're all from areas nowhere near Cincinnati. Right. And they're like, man, like everybody had a story about Michael Jordan's impact on them, sneaker related. Mm-hmm. And it was also very different. So Josiah Lake emails me one day after I leave, and he's like, hey, can you type up that story? So I type it up, send it to him. He hits me back and says, you know what? We're going to do this shoe. Yeah. You're going to be the inspiration behind this.
That's dope.
So to my knowledge, I was told that I was told this like, I don't know, maybe a little bit after the pandemic. I was the first non-athlete celebrity kind of like consumer to be part of a sneaker with Nike and the Jordan company.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. If that is that's what I was told by somebody there. To have a collab. I was the first non-athlete entertainer to have a collab with the Jordan. That's crazy. And then to find out kind of the allure that shoe had taken on, and there's been, I think, 3 different or 4 variations of it since then.
Damn.
I see this just re-released these, but they're kind of a different way. But they got the white laces, the black metal, and I see kids with them on all the time, and I'm like, they have no idea I was part of that.
Right.
It's crazy. Like I just passed somebody yesterday, and
Just rocking on. And
I was just like, oh man, that's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Yep.
Then, did you ever get an opportunity to meet Michael Jordan?
Yeah, I did. I met Michael Jordan in Louisville, Kentucky at an AAU tournament.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story.
Bro, let's talk about that,
You
man.
wanna hear that story?
Dude, Michael Jordan, to me, I wish I was born back in the day so I could have seen him play, because to me, he's the best player to ever, like the greatest athlete all time to ever walk across. Dude, The Last Dance to me, the Netflix documentary, bro. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. I probably could recite that whole thing. I watched it so many times. It's an inspiration.
That documentary was unbelievable. One of the things about that documentary, that the timing of it was perfect. Like, they released that during the pandemic when everyone is sitting down. It was like must-watch TV.
I watched it with my family every night. They showed a new episode every time.
So cool, man. It was such a that will always stick out to me, like that time frame. I don't know, man. Michael Jordan to me is not only the greatest basketball player, but I look at him as one of the greatest athletes to ever walk the face of the earth. You talk about a guy with physical attributes. Obviously, he has the skill. He has the determination, the work ethic. IQ is through the roof.
Right.
And his just love for winning.
This podcast is sponsored by Train Like a Champion, where athletes come to get real results. There are no cookie-cutter workouts, just science-backed training to help build your speed, power, and performance. For more information, check us out at tlctrainlikeachampion.mypixius.com or follow us on Instagram at tlc.513athletes. It's time for us to train different and train like champions. Now let's get back to our show.
All right, so we're going to take it back to Louisville.
Yeah.
I'm at an AAU tournament. It's at the Expo Center in Louisville. So picture this. There are, I want to say at the time, maybe 50 basketball courts laid down in this convention center. There's basketball going on everywhere. So I have my Shining Star teams.
Yeah.
I think we had at that time, maybe 12 teams.
Okay.
They were all there playing. And so we're on court number 1, which is like the premier court.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because we're like the best team, but the schedule broke down to where that's what court we were on.
Yeah.
So we're playing on the court. And it's like when you walk into the Expo Center, that's the first court you see, and then you see all these other courts. It's the centerpiece.
Right.
The way it's set up, they have chairs on the left side. They have chairs on the baseline, and then they have the bench. Now, I'm the director of the program. I don't coach any team. I don't sit on the bench. I kind of walk around. I observe from a distance.
Right.
We had a coach named Matt Tudor, and Matt Tudor, for whatever reason, he asked me to help him that game. And I was like, nah, I'm good, man. I was like, I'm just going to chill over here. He's like, no, I need help with subs.
Yeah.
I've been struggling. I was like, oh, man, all right. So I go over there. They're warming up. We had a player named Connor Wetzel. Connor Wetzel forgot his shoes at the hotel. Well, it just so happens I had some shoes in my car.
Yeah. So
I told one of our players, hey, go get my shoes in the car. So they go get my shoes. And so my shoes were in a shoebox.
Damn, so fresh or what?
They weren't necessarily fresh. I usually have my shoes in the shoebox for whatever reason.
Okay.
I'll carry them in the shoebox.
Yeah.
So today, where I'm going later, I got my shoes in the shoebox in the car.
All right.
So he brings them in. I got the shoebox sitting next to me. That plays into the story.
Yeah.
So we're playing, and during the game, we had this player named Rafi Smith, went to Lakota East High School. And we're playing, and all of a sudden the game's going on down here, and there's a baseline of chairs, and no one's sitting in them, and Rafi's looking down there, and the game's going on down there, and I'm like, so I can see out of my corner eyes. And all of a sudden, Rafi goes, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Bro, did you just cuss?" Yeah. I was like, "What is your problem?" And I look over, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" I said the same thing he did. Michael Jordan,
bro.
Michael Jordan walked in and he sat down at baseline. And I look at Rafi, I'm like, there's no way. And Rafi's like, "Coach, put me back in."
Yeah. Absolutely. Dude, I do the same thing.
So halftime comes and Tudor's trying to keep everybody focused. Like, look, I know Michael Jordan's sitting down there, but let's lock in.
You're right.
And I'm like, I'm not locked in.
Yeah.
So word spreads that Michael Jordan is now here. And the reason he was there is his son, Marcus, well, actually Marcus and Jeffrey, his two sons, played on the same team.
Yeah.
Rising stars out of Chicago. Michael Weinstein, shout out Mike, runs a great program. And his sons were playing for Mike Weinstein, and they were playing after us. Mm-hmm. That's why Michael was there. Well, Mike got there early, so he's sitting down on the baseline at halftime of our game. And he's just chilling. He has couple, I don't know if they were friends or relatives with him, and then he had two bodyguards. That every time I saw him somewhere, like on TV, those bodyguards were with him.
Yeah.
And so the game's going on. We're getting towards the end. Game's over. And I'm looking. I'm like, I got to go over and say something to him.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Word spread that he's there. So, like, our court is now
flooded
with people. There's security guards. They're not letting anybody go talk to Mike.
Yeah.
And he's got two bodyguards standing there. So I got to be quick on my feet. And so I'm like, okay. And so I go, "Hey, Mikey," with this kid named Mikey Krasinski that played on a different team, and he happened to be standing behind our bench. I said, "Mikey, take this camera." And he had one of those. It was back in the day. We had this disposable cameras from Walgreens. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. I said, disposable. Is it any good or not?
Yeah.
So he's standing right there. I said, just if I look back, get the picture. So it's me and Michael Jordan sitting right over there.
Yeah.
He's like, and I don't mean to be corny, but he's like literally 23 steps away from me. So number 23 is 23. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you that's like the distance away. So stand up, and I'm like, all right. So I start walking towards Mike. Every step that I took got more and more nervous. I get about 15 steps into it, and I'm like, man, I'm going to turn around.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want the bodyguards or people to say, "Go away." And two, like, you know how, you might look up to somebody and think somebody's the greatest, and you meet them, and they're like not
who you expected them to be.
Not who you expect. Yeah. And I was worried about that too, and I was like, well, then it hit me like, this is the only time I'm probably ever going to see him.
Yeah.
I got to go. And as I got closer and closer, I'm like, well, what am I going to say? So as I was one step away from him, boom, the bodyguards close.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do I get them to open up? Now, remember I told you Connor Wetzel?
Yeah.
He left his shoes?
Yeah.
Well, I told Connor, I said, give me my shoebox back. So I'm carrying a Michael Jordan shoebox. I'm wearing Jordan 7s. I have on Jordan shorts, and I got on a Jordan T-shirt.
Damn.
Can't make it up.
Right.
And I'm like,
Jordaned out.
I looked the part.
Yeah.
So I remember watching this show when I was younger, and the guy on the show was like, wherever you go, just act like you should be there.
Yeah.
Just walk like you should be there. And I thought about that like 2 seconds before the bodyguards closed. I look at the bodyguards. They've never met me before. All right? Never met me before in my life. I look at the bodyguards and I go, how you guys doing, man? It's been so long, man. You guys been doing okay?
Yeah.
How you been, man? I was like, you been working out, man? And they were big guys. And they were looking at each other like, who is dude?
Yeah.
And they're like, we're good. And they moved.
Wow.
And boom, right in front of me stands Michael Jeffrey Jordan. The GOAT. I reach my hand out. I say, and here's the other thing. Whenever I meet somebody of a certain status, popularity, famous, big-time business, I always try to think about two things. 6 degrees of separation. Who do we know? Who do we have in common we know?
Yeah.
That's an icebreaker. Can I give them a compliment that will put them at ease to have a conversation with? Like if I ever met LeBron, I haven't met LeBron before, but if I ever met him, first thing I would say to him is, LeBron, man, like I'm so impressed with you as a father. Your kids seem like great kids. How many people go up and tell LeBron that right off the rip?
Right.
He'd probably go, oh, man, thanks.
Yeah.
And I say, this is why I think you're a good father.
Yeah.
So I'm always constantly thinking about that. So when I saw Michael, I said, hey, Mike, I played basketball for the Bearcats for Bob Huggins. And he went, Huggy Bear? And I put my hand out, and he shook my hand. And by the way, when he shook my hand, like his fingers were like all the way. It was. I was just like, oh man, dude's hands were enormous.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, Huggy Bear, man, that's my guy, man. So we started talking about. He was like, well, what years did you play? And I told him, I said, man, we were the first team to have the Jordan uniforms, and I said, thank you so much for allowing us to wear the brand. He's like, oh man, you're good, man. And he was like the nicest dude.
Yeah.
So we're talking. And I like start like, how you like doing something and you don't realize your surroundings. So I started looking around like, there are 5,000 people staring at me right now talking to Michael Jordan.
Right.
They didn't let anybody else
That is insane.
go talk to him.
Yeah.
And I look back at Mikey and I look at Mike. So I'm like, okay, how should I do this? So we start talking. I'm like, hey, do you mind if we get a picture? He says, man, normally I would, but he goes, if I take a picture with you, man, it's just going to get out of control. Yeah. And he was like, who's got a camera? And I was like, guy over there. And he's like, well, we'll just kind of talk and just have him take a picture. And I was like, cool. So Mikey did that. Yeah. I have that picture.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Hell yeah.
And so we finished. I mean, we were talking. I was like, hey, man, look, I know you're getting ready to watch your son play. I was like, just an honor meeting you. And he was like, no, you're good, man. You can stay here and talk. And I was like, okay. So we talked a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then finally, I was like, yeah. I was like, man, I'll let you go. And he's like, no, you're good. And I was like, man, I just want to be respectful, And I was like, hey, I'll see you again.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I hit him with that. Like,
yeah.
I'll see you again. He's like, oh, for real? I was like, yep.
That's
Shook
dope.
hands, and I walked away. And little did I know that the young man I mentored at the time, who's now a grown man, Jamal Lucas, is third in command for the Jordan brand and works for Michael.
That's crazy.
And Michael and I have like 7 mutual friends.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That is insane.
Yeah.
So then do you have an opportunity to stay in contact with them?
I haven't talked. So here's what I do.
Yeah.
So I have some questions for Michael Jordan, like that I would love to actually ask him. Mm-hmm. And then I have some questions that I'll ask Jamal to ask him. Like, hey, Jamal, when you're with Jordan, because he'll go, hey, I'm going down to Jupiter. Michael lives in Jupiter. He's like, I'm going down to Jupiter, Florida. And I'm like, hey, ask him this, ask him that. So I asked him one time, not that you'll care about this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Every time like Michael Jordan won a championship, like all these pictures, there's like pictures of him by a piano. And he's like sitting at a piano. And there's like literally 11 or 12 different pictures of him at a piano. And I was just like, I'm learning how to play the piano.
Right.
I wanted to pick it up as an adult. That was the instrument I picked up.
I can teach you.
Oh, you play the piano?
I can play the piano.
Let's go.
Let's go. Really, growing up, bro, I did recitals and stuff. That's not something a lot of people know about me. Yeah. Growing up, I played the piano.
Hey.
Yeah.
Now I know who to. Hey, I'm gonna hit you up.
Let's do it.
That's dope. Can you sing?
I cannot sing, but I can try.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. My brother can sing.
Okay.
So he'll sing for us while we play the piano.
Man, I think the piano's so.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, man.
Yeah, it is
so beautiful. So. Now that I'm learning the piano, I have this attachment to the piano. My favorite artist ever is Stevie Wonder, and he was a masterful piano player. And I just started noticing, like I didn't notice it before, but when I started playing, it's like when you get a new car, and you see like 800 people with that same car. Yeah. And you're like, I never noticed this before.
Right.
And then I started noticing, like, wait a minute, Michael on the piano. I said, Jamal, ask Michael, does he play the piano? Jamal was like, yo, that's a good question because he's always near a piano.
Right.
So he's like, so Jamal calls me up. He's like, hey, I asked Mike your question. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. He's like, so I laid it up. I said, Mike, every championship, like you're sitting around a piano you know, like there's one picture of him like looking at some new shoes for his line, and it's like he's sitting at a piano. He's like, "Do you play the piano?" So Mike was like, "Hell no." I was like, "What?" I was hoping like
Bro, some nice story from it.
I was like some like maybe hidden talent that I like nobody knew about, and I helped discover it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, man, it's just," he's like, all the like in the hotels, like all the top floor rooms had pianos
So
in
he
them.
was just-
and that's just where he's just always sitting
crazy.
by it. And I was like, that's super dope. But yeah, I can pretty much, in reasonable, I can get any question. I've had Jamal get a lot of questions answered.
Yeah.
But I want to sit down with him one day.
That is dope.
And ask him some questions. I will.
That is so cool.
I will.
Out of all your journey, out of your whole entire journey, what do you feel has been like your best experience? Like what's your all-time moment for you, would you say?
Oh man, there's been so many.
Right.
Playing for Bob Huggins, playing alongside Kenyon, working on the Jordan sneaker, the book. Oh man, there's been so many.
Yeah.
And they've all kind of like been part of the journey, man. I've been so many. I do want to say, I'm gonna answer your question.
Yeah.
Sorry that I'm
you're good.
like,
You're good.
going all around the way. I've been so many places and met so many people, just from, I think, meeting other people, being open to talking to other people. Like one day I blinked an eye and I was like on the Seattle Seahawks practice field after they won the Super Bowl with one of the players that played in my AU program who I was mentoring, and he just won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. And I'm sitting there with Russell Wilson, like Beast Mode, like all these people. And that moment hit me like all the stuff I was doing, not to say that was like the big, but I was just like, yo, this is really cool, man.
Yeah.
And it was everything was just so organic. That's what I loved about like everything that's happened to me has been really, really organic. Probably one like meeting and spending time. I've probably about 3 or 4 times with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that. Money Floyd.
Money Mayweather.
Money Mayweather.
It was really good chopping it up with him and learning about his mindset.
Yeah.
Because anytime you meet someone that's so good at what they do, I mean, he's 50 and 0. Obviously, he's coming back to fight Pacquiao here.
What do you think of that? What do you think about that?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That's his. Hey, he earned the right to do what he wants to do.
You're right.
It's like everybody's being critical of him, but no one says anything about Pacquiao.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
he's earned the right to do whatever. Anytime anybody comes back, no one wants him to do it. People didn't want Michael Jordan to come back to the Wizards. People didn't want certain baseball players to come back. And but my time that I spent with him and talking to him, it was very valuable because I think I asked him the right questions about like what's your mind. He was working on his skill to be the best boxer, but he knew being the best boxer was going to allow him to make a lot of money, get a lot of business deals done. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. Every time I'm around him, like there could be 10 people drinking, and he doesn't want any part of that. Very disciplined. With what he does. Even still to today, the type of shape he keeps himself in. And it was just great. I mean, it's been an amazing journey getting to meet these people at this level and get an understanding of their mindset.
Yeah.
What's made. And it's just like listen, I'm not going to do everything Floyd Mayweather does, but I could steal a couple things that he does really well and try to do them at a high level and put that in my arsenal of what I do.
Absolutely. Now, what's one little golden nugget that you'd give to any listener out there that just heard your story? What's one message you got for them?
Life's about people, man.
Yeah.
I mean, from the time we started to the time we ended, my whole journeys, I've mentioned, I don't know, you might have to go back and watch. I probably mentioned about 40, 50 names of different people.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I mean, every step of, you could ask me about something in middle school, 8th grade, like an 8th grade dance.
Yeah.
And I would remember the people there. Brian Hackworth, Peter Krug, Ned Elliott. Like I'm sitting here telling you, like, who was at that dance?
Right.
That's how important I think people are to me.
Yeah.
And I think if we focused more on And especially, young people, as you get attached to the cell phone more and more, you lose that interaction with people. You FaceTime, Snapchat. You don't have that face-to-face interaction. The face-to-face I think it's so crucial, man, to learn. But life's about people. I'll remember that.
Absolutely. Where can people find your stuff at, your social media?
I'm on everything. Sometimes I wish I wasn't, but I'm on Instagram's probably one of my favorites. Yeah, I like Instagram a lot. I mean, you can learn a lot about a person. Yeah. Oftentimes I think we tend to post our successes on Instagram, but when you dig deep, like don't post like all their failures on, but people sometimes post their struggles, which I appreciate. I'm on Instagram at Alex_Meacham, MEACHAM. I'm on Twitter with the same handle. Twitter's not real; it's crazy in there sometimes.
X.
You can't say X. We go to UC, so you can't say.
You can't say X.
No.
Oh, because of
Xavier.
Hey, I will say I'm new to UC. I was at UD before.
Oh.
So I'm like a new transfer. I just came over this semester, but I love it though.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And part of your thing, you can't say X.
All right.
You got to say
I'm
Twitter.
done. All right, Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter's a move.
So that's actually a rule with me and the homies.
All right,
we don't say X.
All right.
I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, all of it. Yeah. I'm on all of it. So Alex Meacham, last name's MEACHAM. Which sometimes gets spelled incorrectly. That's the correct spelling.
I'll get I'll edit a little tag on there for people to get you.
Yeah, I like that, man.
I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. It's been such an honor having you, and man, I appreciate you so much.
Man. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we got to get a little piano. You got to teach me. I've been working on my goal. You ready for my goal?
Let's hear it.
My goal is I want to be able to play from start to finish on the piano Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life.
Okay.
It is my favorite album ever. I think it's the most beautiful album, well-written, music. Stevie Wonder can't be copied.
Yeah.
People try to sing his songs. Nah.
He's him.
He's the one.
Yeah.
That's why I started. Well, one, I wanted to learn. I think as you get older, when you get the older you get, people have children, and then you become like, okay, do this, do that. You're telling everybody else what to do. You stop learning, right? You always think you're the teacher. And I always told myself, man, I want to continue to learn. And so I'm going to pick up an instrument.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite artist, Stevie Wonder.
Play piano.
Play the piano.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yep.
Well, hopefully I can help you out.
All right, let's do it. Make it happen, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. It's been great to get to know you.
Absolutely, me too.
I know some people gon' look at me crazy and I'm like, for what? Man, I was stuck. I was down, but now I'm up.